Hello and welcome to the part 2 of the small series Ukrainian alphabet with Viktoriia. And in this part, we would continue with the Ukrainian alphabet. And as you recall, I painted a book, especially for the letters. And let's continue with the next letter. The next letter is this one. And also, before we move on, just quickly wanted to say that at the end there will be a quiz. And stay tuned until the end of this episode to check your knowledge and how much you remembered. And we start with the letter L. And the word for this letter is this. This is a plane, and let's see if you can read it. Try to read it. The first is L. Try to guess how would you pronounce it. And now let's start, let's do it together. L, I, T, A, K. And once again, Li, Tak. And now again, Litak. And that is the word for the airplane. The next letter I would like to show you is the letter N or N. And here I painted a nose for this letter and a little hippo, or tell me please in the comments below what animal you think this is. And let's now read the words. This letter I just told is N, and try to read this small word by yourself. I think you know these two letters. And now let's read it together. Nis. And again, Nis. And let's read the other letters down here. Another word. And the first letter you know. This one you know probably as well. This and this too. This one, remember, is not P, but R. This one you know. And the last one is R. Try to guess how would you pronounce this word in Ukrainian. And let's read it now together. N, O, S, O, R, I, R. And together, No, So, Rig. And again, No, So, Rig. And Rig basically means a horn, and Nis is a nose. So it's kind of like a nose that is a horn kind of animal. And we move to the next letter. And this letter probably looks to you like the letter or like the number 3. And this letter is pronounced as Z, like in the English alphabet Z or Z. This annoying fly is just annoying me. Anyway, the word for this letter is winter, and let's read it together. Or actually, first I would give you 3 seconds to kind of try to read it on your own. So the first one I just told you, and the last 2 are in the English alphabet. If you can recall this letter, it's not easy to pronounce, but try to guess how would you pronounce it. So let's try now together. Z, U, M, A. And now all together. Zima. Zima. And zima means winter. And we move to our next letter. And the next letter in our alphabet is, well, it's not actually chronological according to alphabet, it's a bit random, but who cares? The main thing that you learn some letters today of Ukrainian alphabet. So the next letter is the letter P, and you probably could see that this letter here means the English letter P, but in Ukrainian alphabet this is different. This letter is R or R, and this letter is P. And let's start with this letter. So I painted here some nice creatures. This is a parrot, and this is a tomato. And let's read the letters and the words together. So the first letter I told you already. This one you know, this one is the same. This one we didn't have yet, it's U. And these two last ones you had already. So try to guess what this word could probably be read as. And 3, 2, 1. And now let's read it together. This is P, A, P, U, R, A. And all together, Pa, Pu, Ha. And again, Papuha. And now let's read the word down below. And let's start with this letter. And now look at this letter here. Probably familiar to you. This one too, this one too. This one, you might recall we started it in the video, in the first part of our videos for alphabet. So in the first part. And the last one is this one, which is R. So try to read it for yourself or guess how would you pronounce it, how would you read it. And now let's read it together. P, O, M, I, D, O, R. And now let's read it together. Pomidor. And again, pomidor. And so the next letter that I would like to show you is this letter. We just looked at this letter here, which is the letter P. And now let's look at this letter, which is the English letter P, but the Ukrainian letter R. R. And if it's difficult for you to pronounce, don't worry about it. It will come naturally at some point. It is not so crucial. And now let's look at the words that I prepared for you and painted. If you can guess what this creature is, I hope you can see the tail of the mermaid here. And this is the river. So let's read the words. First, I will give you the opportunity to read it by yourself, and then we would read it together. So let's start with this one. This is the word for the river. So this, I told you, it's R, and try to read it. The only letter you don't know yet, it's this one, and this letter is Ch. And try to read it and pronounce it for yourself, by yourself right now. Ready? Let's do it together now, and you can check how well you guessed the letters and how successful you are in reading Ukrainian alphabet. Let's start this one. R, I, Ch, And again, Rička. And now very smoothly, Rička, Rička. This is the word for the river. And let's look at our next word, which is the word for the mermaid here. So I would give you a few moments to read it for yourself and check your reading skills, and then we would do it together. And let's do it together now. R. This one I think you didn't have yet. Not sure, let me take a look. I don't think so. I think it's the next one that we're gonna learn. Yep. This letter is U. This one we had already. It's S, A, L, and this one is K, A. The last two are easy. And let's read it now together. Ru, sal, ka. And once again, rusalka, rusalka. Repeat after me. Rusalka. Very well. And now let's continue with our next letter. And the next letter is, or the next few letters are these ones. And these are the letters that were already just recently in our alphabet. For example, in the word Rička was this letter, Ch, and in the word Rusalka was this letter, which is U. Let's look closer at this letter here. This letter is Ch or Che. And what I portrait here, you can guess. It's kind of like a green tea, but it's just some kind of a tea, maybe a mint tea. Comment down below if you like mint tea or green tea. And let's read the word for this. The word for this word, I don't know. Let's just read it and practice. And it's a very small word, and I bet that in Turkish language it's the same pronunciation, or in Indian language. Who's from India or Turkey maybe can can help me on that. And let's read it now. So the first one is Ch. This one you know, and the last one we had already before. If you recall it, it's as yogurt, the first letter of yogurt. And try to read it now and guess how would you pronounce it in Ukrainian. And now let's read it together. Ch, a, y. And all together, chai, chai. And some people might hear this word and be like, wow, it's the same word for tea in our language. Comment down below if in your language chai also means chai. And we move on to the next letter. The next letter is U. It's a vowel letter or consonant. Not so sure. Anyway, it's the letter U. And it's like the letters A, O, U, I. It's open letter. And now what I portrayed here, can you guess what is this country? Well, it's Ukraine, and the word for Ukraine is, and now let's practice again. I will give you a second to read it for yourself. Can you guess it? Let's do it together. U, K, R, A, Y, N, A. And all together. Uk, Ra, Y, Na. And again. Ukraina. Ukraina. And we move on to our next letters. Oh, this annoying fly. Wow, how much sometimes a fly can annoy someone. Incredible capacity that the fly has. Anyway, let's move on. And the next letters are these very weird letters. I guess in Greek alphabet, this letter exists as well. Who's from Greece? Please comment down below. And I probably need to pause the video and just get rid of the fly. Much better now. And we can continue. So the next letters, or the next letter is this one here. And this letter is F. And the word for this letter is this cute creature here. It's the bell, or I don't remember, but I just like the picture, so I painted it. And this magic creature is called, try to read it. I think we didn't go over this letter yet. So this is the letter Ya. And try to read this short word. And together. F, E, Ya. Feia. Feia. And it's different as an English thing. In English, I think it's Fi. And in Ukrainian, it's Feia. And the next letter is actually, it's one of my favorite, if not favorite, games. And this is the letter Sh or Sha. And so Sh is basically how would you pronounce it in a word, and Sha is how you would pronounce it in the alphabet. It's like A, B, C, D. This is the way you pronounce it in the alphabet. And in Ukrainian alphabet, it's A, B, V, H, D. And so on. So this letter is Sha. And the word for this letter is chess. And like this video, who also loves to play chess. And the word, let's read it together. Sh. Or no, I give you a moment to read it by yourself. And I just tell you that this is the letter Ha. Like in haha. And I give you a moment. And here we go. Sh, A, H, U. And all together. Sha, H. And feel free to repeat after me. Shah. I would probably put a link in the description for those who would like to play chess with me. There is this chess.com. I was not sponsored for promoting this platform, but I just like playing chess there. And if you also like playing chess, we can play chess on the platform. So check it out in the description. And we move on to the next letter. And the next letter is the letter U. And this is just one letter which describes the whole English word you, as in I and you. And it looks a little bit to me like a Korean, it's like, I'm basically rediscovering the letters and looking at the letters of my alphabet in the fresh perspective, all for you. And I think it's a Korean, some kind of Korean related letter. It looks like that. Anyway, there was a time back then when I was trying to learn Korean, but it didn't work out. But luckily we have a sort of Korean letter in Ukrainian alphabet. And the word for this letter is... Can you guess which planet I painted here? I give you a hint. It's the biggest planet in the solar system. And if you say Jupiter, you are correct. And now let's get through. I don't know. Let's look closer at the word for the Jupiter in Ukrainian. I give you a brief time to read it on your own. Remember, this is not P. Not P. Okay, let's read it together. U, P, I, T, E, R. And once again, Jupiter. And all together smoothly. Jupiter. And this is the word for Jupiter. And the next letter that I painted is like we say in Ukrainian language, there is such a saying that Ya is the last letter in the alphabet. And you know why? Because this letter Ya means I. So it's a bit of like a sarcastic way of saying like, not that you're not so important, but this is just some kind of like a way of saying it. Anyway, this is the letter Ya, and it looks to me actually like the English letter R, which is turned like a mirror way. And the word for this letter is apple. And let's see if you can read it. And if not, let's read it together. Ya, B, L, U, K, O. And again, Yab, Lu, Ko. And again, Jabluko. And now you. Alright, and next letter I would like to show you is this letter here. And it looks like letter X in English alphabet. And in Ukrainian alphabet, it is a letter H. And the word for this letter is a boy. And here is this word, and can you read it by yourself first? And now let's try together. H, L, O, P, Ch, U, K. And once again, chlop, chick. And again, chlopchik, chlopchik. And now let's learn another letter which is very miraculous. And as you can see, it's not a typical letter for English alphabet. And this is the letter Sh. Sh. As in the word borsh. If you ever tasted this traditional Ukrainian dish, let us know in the comment below. And let's look closer at this letter now. You see 3 columns and a little tail at the end. And the word for this letter is happiness. And here's the word in Ukrainian. Let's see if you can read it on your own first to practice your memory. And then we will read it together to kind of verify if you guessed it or read it correctly. Can you already guess how would you pronounce this word? Let's do it together. Sh, a, s, t, ya. And all together. Счастья. And again, счастья. And feel free to repeat after me. Счастья. Very well. And we move on to our next letter, which is the letter E. And this is a very typical letter also in English alphabet, so we'll go very briefly. And the word for this letter is emotion. Here is one, here is another. And let's see if you can guess how would you read this word here. The only letter that you probably don't know is this one. And this letter is the letter C. And try now to read it on your own. And now let's do it together. E, M, O, C, I, Ya. And once again, E, Mo, Ci, Ya. And now all together, emocja. Emocja is an emotion. And now a very similar letter, as you can see here. This letter is quite similar to this one, except that this one has no squares over here. It's more round, like half of the moon. And this letter is pronounced as yeah. Yeah. Like in English, when you say yeah, that's the letter. And I drawn or painted here this thingy, and it was supposed to be it was supposed to be this. I don't know if you can recognize it. If yes, then thumbs up for the video. And the reason why I painted it here is because this letter also has a meaning, as in there is a word in Ukrainian that has only this letter and consists only of this letter. Do you already know what is this? If no, I will tell you. And if yes, write in the comments if you could already know what is this word. And the word is. I know it sounds funny, but the word that I mean for this letter is. For example, I have pears. У мене є груші. Or I have a cat. У мене є кішка. And or you can say also kit. Kit is a male and kishka is a female. Kit or kishka. And what I actually say is у мене є, and it literally means in me there is. But yeah, that's it for this letter. Let's continue and move on to the next letter. And let's start with this one, because we are kind of trying, well, I'm kind of trying to sandwich the letters, so some of them you already recognize. Let's not look at this spider letter yet. Oops. Let's continue with this letter first. So can you tell me what letter is this? Yes, this is letter M or M. And the word for this letter, can you guess what it could be? Well, I'm not sure if you can guess it from here, but it's supposed to be milk. And this long word with 3 O letters is milk. Can you try and read it on your own? And let's check if you read it correctly, because the only letter that you don't know in this word is this one. And there's a huge chance that you actually read it correctly. Let's see. M, O, L, O, K, O. And once again, Mo, Lo, Ko. And again, Moloko. And now is your turn. Moloko. Well done. And we move on to our spider letter. This is my favorite, personally, letter in Ukrainian alphabet. And why? I don't know. I just love this star-shaped kind of freaky letter. And the word that I choose, well, first I tell you how you pronounce it. You pronounce it by saying zh. And I know it might be difficult because there is no such letter zh in English alphabet, not that I think of. But imagine, for example, a car with a huge motor, like children, especially boys, do. Like when they play cars, they make like zh, zh, and that's the sound. It's a zh, zh. It's a bit like z, but more with the tongue deeper, like zh. Ayo. And okay, the word for this letter that I chose is life. And can you try to read it on your own first? And let's do it together now. J, U, T, T, ya. And once again, життя. Життя. And now is your turn. Say life in Ukrainian. Життя. Well done. Here is your star. And let's continue with some other letter. This letter is very, very, very simple. And this letter is this one here. And of course, you know how to pronounce it. So without further ado, you probably can guess what is painted here. I hope so. If not, let me tell you this. I'll tell you afterwards. First, let's read it, and then in case you didn't understand, I'll tell you what this is. So can you try to read this word here? This is not P, this is other letter. And now let's read it together. O, Z, E, R, O. And once again, O, Z, Ro. And again, ozero. It's like zero, which is like, I think it's in casino. I'm not sure if it's called zero also in English, but it sounds a bit like zero. Maybe that's because lake is very round. And funny enough. And now let's move to another letter, which is new to you probably, and it looks a little bit like the letter that we just learned before. This one, let's compare it again. Here you have 3 columns, here you have just 2 columns. So this one is sh, and this one is ts. Ts. there is a fly. I'm not sure if you know it in English as well, but we say there is a fly tsetse. I don't know if you know it. I will be surprised if you do. Write in the comments if you recognize or recall what a fly tsetse means. Anyway, this is tse, and the word for this letter is onion. And let's, as usual, let me give you first the opportunity to read it on your own, and then we'll read it together. Okay, and now let's read it together. Ts, U, B, U, L, Ya. And once again, Ci, Bu, La. And again, Cibuля, Cibuля. And it means onion. And we move to our last but not least letter, which is actually, theoretically speaking, not a letter on its own. Well, it is, but you cannot pronounce it. Here's the thing. And here is this letter. And this letter is just called soft sign. And basically, you cannot pronounce it. It's only used together with other letters, and it influences other letters. For example, here is the word shadow, and you see this letter here, and this letter, so the one with mysterious that doesn't sound, is changing the way this letter here sounds. Quite weird, huh? Well, let's try to read this word together. T. Can you guess this one? I. And this one? N. And here is the trick. When you see this letter here, it means that the sign before is supposed to be pronounced softer, as in, instead of saying tin, you say tin. And again, hear closely, tin on one hand or tin. You hear that soft n at the end? That makes the whole difference. It's very important, this letter at the end. It's very important to pronounce it. And we did it! Incredible! Here is a high five. Hello! Are you ready for the quiz? Yay! You did it! You learned already. You watched the whole video and you learned the whole Ukrainian alphabet. And now I would like to give you a quiz where you can practice your skills and also prove to yourself that you remembered the letters. So let's start with this letter here. So I am going to give you three types of answers, and you choose the right one. And then I give the right answer, and then you can see if your answer was correct. So let's go. This letter is pronounced as A, K, K, B, L, L, C, Y, Y. And again, A, K, B, L, C, Y. And the right answer is C, Y. This is the letter Y. Remember the word yogurt? This is Y. So if you have it correct, here is your star. And we move to the next letter. Can you guess or can you remember, recall what this letter here that looks like number 3 is pronounced as A, Z, Z, B, F, F, C, A, A. And again, A, Z, B, F, C, A. And the right answer is A, Z. This is the letter Z, as in the word zima, winter, zima. And if you have that one correct, here is your second star. And if not, you have another yet chance to get it. And this one is really difficult, but I kind of believe that you can guess it. Can you recall what this letter is pronounced as? A, U, U, B, U, U, and C, E, E, A. What was it? Sorry, get confused. So A, U, B, U, C, E. And the right answer is, of course, U. This is the letter U, as in Ukraina, for Ukraine. Ukraina. And here's your third star in case you made it correct. And now there is two more letters that you can guess or not guess. I hope for you that you actually do guess them. And the first letter is this one here. Actually, fourth. How do you pronounce this letter? And what does it mean? A, yeah, and it means there is, or I have, there is. B, ja, and it means I. And C, u, and it means they. And the right answer is, of course, A. This letter is pronounced yeah, and it means is. And now my favorite letter of all that I would like to make you guess. Do you know what is this letter and how do you pronounce it? It's difficult to pronounce, I bet. So, A, Z, B, B, J, and C, Y. And again, A, Z, B, J, and C. What did I say? And C, Y. And the right answer is B, J. This is my favorite of all letter. And here is the word życia, which means life. It looks to me just like a star. And if you get this word correctly, here's your star number 5. And here is a high five from me. And you did it correctly and you did it well. And write in the comments below how many stars you gathered in this video. And I also would love to read from you any suggestions for the future videos. What are you as a Ukrainian learner are curious about and want me to upload and to teach you? And stay healthy,